Oh, that's enough of that. This is a Hitachi TRK-W22AU, and I pretty much bought this because I really like the chrome details around the speakers. But I have no idea if this thing works, and it is in need of a good cleanup, so let's get stuck in. So this thing has AM and FM radio along with shortwave 1 and shortwave 2, and there's also 2 trays to load 2 Pop-Tarts at the same time so you and a friend can both eat. But I have no idea if this thing actually powers on, and looking around the back of it, it appears to take a bunch of D-cell batteries, which would go in here. And there's also the power cable, which has been squeezed in there. Looking in the back though, the battery connectors don't look corroded, so that's kind of a good sign. There is a tiny little spider carcass down in there, but nothing to worry about. So yeah, I guess we should plug this in and see what it does. I don't really like the look of this cord. It has been twisted up quite a bit, so maybe we should just double check this first, just to make sure it's not gonna short out or, I don't know, cause a fire or something. Right, so I've got the multimeter set to measure resistance. Let's just clip these on here, just so I don't have to try and hold the probes on this thing. 345 ohms. Did that just jump around then? Alright, seems pretty stable at 345. So I'm okay with that. Let's plug this thing in and see what happens. Nothing. Oh, I hear a buzz. Oh. So the volume is very scratchy, but I don't think we should go chasing waterfalls just yet. We'll just stick to the cassette tapes that we're used to. Let's try out the cassette deck. I had a look around before I started filming and I found Whole Celebrity Skin, which is the original cassette, but it's obviously missing its cover or something, and a TDK cassette head cleaner. So let's just see if this thing will play. I'm not too worried about destroying Whole. Well, that's not good. Okay, well, fast forward and rewind sound like they're working, but that doesn't sound good. It's got continuous play as well. All right, let's try door number 2. Oh, the play button's stuck down. It's not actually turning the tape though, so we're just getting like a weird static noise from the stationary playhead against the tape. Right, well, let's open this thing up, see if we can sort out what's wrong with these cassette decks, and also clean up this volume control. In fact, I wonder if both speakers work. Yes. Both speakers are working. There's even a little indicator light if we lock onto something FM stereo. Oh, we found Triple J. Cool. All right. Unplug. Now, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. Let's start with them. Well, at least all the screws are the same. Will that be enough? There's just a plug for the aerial under there. And a plug going to this power supply board. Cool. Well, that wasn't so bad. And look, nice, easy access to the tape decks. That's great. There's a little bodge wire there. Right, well, looking at the little power supply, there's just a simple transformer, a little bridge rectifier, and a couple of little bypass caps. There's no big filter cap or anything on there. It's pretty crazy. I would have thought at least something. Very budget, I guess. Right, so ideally, I'd like to power this off the bench supply, just so I don't have to run it off mains power. So let's just figure out where this plug went to. Dare I say the brown wire is going to be a ground, and that probably runs around the outside of the board here. Yeah, that's making a connection there. There's a nice juicy plane there that we can connect ground up to. So our red could be a little bit more difficult. That was not it. There's that point there, which is still going to be hard to clip something onto. I might just pop this out of the connector. Come on. Okay. Right, bench supply is set to 9 volts. It's just set to 1 amp at the moment because if this thing takes 6 D cells, that would be 9 volts. And then if I clip this to this one, nothing happens. Hey, there we go. The scratchy volume. That's all we want to do though. We just want to have power going in. So let's hit play, see what happens. Well, things are turning. Let's see the other deck. So I guess these two engage the motor. But for whatever reason, it doesn't want to lock in. Just going to put a tape back in there. There's definitely a lot of slack on that belt. The other one's just about the same, maybe slightly better. And yeah, now the play's, it's stopped trying to auto stop, but the motor's not spinning. And then it clicked off. So I'm no expert on tape decks, but I think let's replace the belt and see what it does. So I think I just need to remove that plate. It should give us access. And sneak the belt out under it. Yes. And then out from the motor. All right, well, we are still powered on. Tape's still in there. Let's try and play. Nope, it is still not happy with that. Although it appears to actually be playing. Hang on. It stopped fighting me. Oh, I detect a sound of tape being chewed. Sacrificial cassette. Oh no. What have they done to you? I'm gonna have to do it. really stuck. So what I can see if I hold down the play button is that this one's spinning, but the other one is not taking up the slack. So tape's being forced out, and then this roller's not taking it up, so it's just getting stuck all up in the mechanism. Yeah, you can see the tape's all messed up in there. Same thing happens on the other side too. So I think I should probably just clean this thing out, see if that helps. Right, so let's try and pull this thing out without disassembling everything. So there looks to be a black screw up here, one in the middle, one in that corner, one in that corner, and that seems to be about it. So I'm guessing they should come out, and then the tape mechanism will come out without everything falling to pieces. It seems to be loose. What about this bar? Just going to put that aside. There's a lot of wiring. Hopefully I don't have to disconnect any of that. It seems to be held in by this clip over here. Oh, do not break. Okay, I think we're close. I think I might have to cut some of these cable ties though. All right. And oh my God, look at the dirt on those heads. Oh. So I'm just pushing play and then just turning the motor. And I can see that this engages this reel here, which I guess is the take-up reel. And there is an issue. That actually has a big split through it. So there's like a sort of belt or something around the outside of that thing. And on the other deck, that belt is completely missing. So yeah, that's certainly an issue, and that's probably why tape was being pulled by the capstan, but not being taken up by the other reel, so it was just getting stuck all up in the pinch roller. I'm gonna need to first try and get the other one off. Thankfully it's split, so it's pretty easy just to get that out of there. Yeah, that's all kinds of messed up. So it looks like we're going to have to try and source 2 of these. I don't think I have these on hand. That should be fun. Where do I even begin? I guess while we're in here though, really should clean up these nasty looking heads and everything. So I'll get to that and try and figure out where I can find a replacement for these things. So just a bit of IPA on a Q-tip. Ooh, wow. So all of that came off just one playhead. That's insane. Right, so it's about a week later and I did find the replacement parts that I needed. They are called a cassette idler tire. And I guess that makes sense because I guess that's called the idler. And it's a wheel, so on the outside of the wheel is a tire. Yeah. I found them on the Wagner website, which is also where I got the replacement flybacks for the Commodore 1084. So $3.50 a pop, and yeah, they look to be the right size. I think the challenge is going to be getting them on. I have also replaced the belt and the other drive belt on the first deck, and also went through and just cleaned up all the heads. So they are still not looking perfect, but they're definitely free of any dirt or contaminants. The biggest challenge was actually the pinch roller. Now, I did read up online about ways to clean the pinch roller because I was hesitant using IPA on rubber, and there's mixed information online. Some people say, yeah, just use IPA on the rubber, it'll be fine. Other people are like, oh my god, that'll harden it out, blah blah blah. I went with a bunch of different things. I did try IPA, but I also tried a bit of window cleaner. The window cleaner seemed to get most of the dirt off, but didn't do much else. The IPA also took some dirt off, but again, didn't do much else. These rollers were pretty hard and not very grippy. So I went further than that and tried a bit of this rubber roller restorer. And to be honest, this didn't seem to do shit. And I used it, I went through about 20 Q-tips of this with this stuff on it, trying to see if it would eventually make a difference, and they just seem to be still hard and not grippy, just smooth. Eventually I settled on using methylated spirits, or metho as we call it down in Australia. This is denatured alcohol for people that don't speak Australian. And that seems to have worked the best. The rollers are still somewhat hard, but they do have a slight grippiness to them now. So probably the best I'm going to get. And to be honest, you know, it's a cheap deck. Can't expect too much. So I'm happy with how everything looks here. I also went through and just with Q-tips and just cleaned everything up. So I do need to reapply some grease to the parts that mesh together. So I've got some white lithium grease and some toothpicks. I'm pretty much going to go in and just sort of lube up the spots that come in contact with each other. Alright, so I've replaced the drive belts for the cassette decks, the little tires, I've cleaned everything up, lubricated the bits that rub together against each other. I think we should be good to give this another test. Oh, I still need to do something about this. It looks like it was at the start of the tape, so I think what I might do... Yeah, there wasn't that much lost. So I'm just going to rip this out, and the tape's going to start from wherever this spot is. Right, well, our tape is back together. It is obviously missing the run out now, and the first, probably this plus another one of these minute of music, dare I say, but it's back together. Let's try it out. Well, everything seems to work. It's no longer fighting me to stop. The big test. Oh, hang on. It works. The volume control's still terrible, but it's kind of hard to tell with Courtney Love because it's all anyway. I should just check the other deck. It works. And it's not chewing the tape. Really, what needs to happen is this thing needs a good clean, because it's a mess. But it's a working mess. So after a ridiculous amount of scrubbing and cleaning and Q-tips, this thing is now shiny and clean. The tape decks still aren't perfect. In fact, I did a quick comparison of deck A to deck B, which I'll put up just now. It's only a couple of seconds worth because I want to avoid getting a copyright strike, but if you want to hear it again, just rewind the video. Deck A definitely has a lot more whine flutter than deck B, And I think that's just down to the pinch roller mostly. It's still quite hard and not very grippy, so I'll investigate that in the future, but until I have like proper test tapes, it's hard to sort of diagnose that completely. So at some point I'll probably come back to this machine and give it a full tune up. But for now, Deck B at least sounds somewhat decent. And all in all, everything works. At least it doesn't chew any tapes. So yeah, I hope you found this video somewhat interesting. It's been quite interesting for me going back and looking at a tape deck. I haven't done any work on tape decks for many years, so I've probably forgotten a lot of that knowledge or just didn't have it to begin with. Maybe. So yeah, thank you all for watching. A massive thanks to the people that support the channel on Patreon, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the fucking hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and fuck all the doubters, they're just fucking downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring. Yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart? Are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs. Are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God.